sa inyo lahat. Your Excellencies, dear friends, I hello. If I am asked to now to share a story or the story of my experience of the Pope's visit, I will have to refer you to the book. Because I was quite surprised to see that the narrative that accompanies the photographs, the living narrative through photos, came basically from my storytelling to Peachy, to Jesselyn, and to other friends. So you would please, you would be able to read my story by looking at the book. I went through it and I tried to pretend that I was not the one telling the story. I tried to pretend that I was an outsider trying to hear this account for the first time from someone who was close to the event or even physically close to the Holy Father. And I have to confess that it was not so much the literary style, for my narrative did not even consider that it be a sterling work of literature. I was just talking with friends, Peachy, Jesselyn, and they just allowed my heart to pour out its memories. And there were moments when the three of us were in tears. There were moments when we were in silence, just recalling those events. But then, pretending to be an outsider, reading again this very simple narrative, I could not help but be touched once again. And without going through the details, let me just tell you, I was transported to the opening lines of the first Gospel of St. John, where St. John said, "What we have seen with our eyes, what we have heard with our ears, and touched with our hands regarding the word of life, we in turn share with you, proclaim to you, so that you will have communion with us, and our communion is our communion with the Father." Yeah. Bishop Saul, the Apostolic Bishop, and many other people had not only the privilege, but the mission to be quite close to the original event. We were like the modern-day apostles, who were graced to see, to hear, and to touch. And it was not just a privilege, it was more of a mission. For if it is about the Word of God, lived and proclaimed, it should not be kept. It must be shared. It must be proclaimed. In its simplicity, in its rawness, in its nakedness. And so, I take this book as some sort of a mission book, coming from apostles who want to share their stories, and hopefully through the book and the accounts, our hearts will be stirred again. Our hearts will be disturbed. Our hearts will start again and again to return to the Word of God, whom the Holy Father tried to witness to us, the living person of Jesus. As the memory deepens and as we grow in our appreciation of the event, the significance of the event, hopefully we will be impelled to do something, to act based on what we have seen, heard, and touched. In other words, please get hold of the book. and see how we simple apostles are telling the story of what we have seen, heard, and touched. And finally, I noticed that I mentioned a number of times, I think twice, in the accounts here, how the Holy Father mentioned that visiting Asia, Korea, Sri Lanka, and the Philippines, he just saw that there is a future for the church in Asia. With its enthusiasm, with its suffering, with its many martyrs, there is hope for the church in Asia. Last Monday, I was in Rome to attend the meeting, and I had the chance to have lunch with the Holy Father. And when lunch was over, he asked me when I was coming back home. It was on Monday, so I told him, day after tomorrow, Wednesday, I fly back. And he said, well, greetings to the friends there. And then, as I was leaving Rome, Santa Marta, where he's residing, he said, there is hope for the church right there in Asia. The future of the church is in Asia. He said it again. So what he said when he was here was not just flattery. It was not just to say something to console us. It seems that it has become a conviction for him. It is his, instead of saying, have a safe trip, he said, there is hope for the church in Asia. And we receive it, that message, with trembling, but with a deep sense of responsibility for the great Asian continent, for humanity, for the environment. Yes, if there is a future for us here and for the church here, let us face that future with hope. Thank you very much, Lord. Thanks to people behind this